Good boy. Bathurst was originally established as a gold mining town, but we've found gold not necessarily in the creeks or underground. 4,000 acres on a property called Blackrock, only 15 minutes out of town.
Blackrock, it's about 4,000 acres. The name comes from the original founder of the place, refers back to a place in Scotland. And it was originally about 3,000 acres. Then about 20 years ago, or 25, 30 years ago, it was amalgamated into about 4,500 acres.
Well, Tom, you said you had plenty of spring-fed dams earlier, but looks to me like you don't need them.
We're down on the Cheshire Creek, which is a permanent creek which makes up the southern boundary of Blackrock. It's about 6 km creek. It's running a little bit fuller than usual, but even throughout all the drought that we've had here, it's been permanently running, and it's good water holes. The thing about Blackrock is that it's fine wool type country. It's not heavy carrying country, but it does seem to breed stock well. The horses that came out of here in the early days were renowned for their bone strength and their weight, and I think that comes from the lime. One of the things that really interests me about this property is not only its grazing potential, but I think these days with the whole carbon sequestration and carbon trading schemes that are going to take place, you grow beautiful timber in this country. Red box, yellow box, white box and red stringy. They're really magnificent timbers and we've milled them quite extensively. What it also brings is a lot of different wildlife and just sort of a beautiful amenity to have on the property.
Well, you've got 4,000 acres. This is obviously a tiny part of it. Do you want to show me some more? Oh. Come on. So what services does Bathurst have?
Not only just a gold mining town, it's one of the most important rural towns in regional New South Wales. It's also the centre of education in New South Wales. It features a number of good private schools. It's got its own university, and the other attractive thing about Bathurst is, of course, its proximity to Sydney CBD. It's among the largest regional centres in New South Wales. It's an outstanding supply town for the rural industry. And there is a terrific social scene locally also. The great thing is you've got many age groups here. You've got lots of students here that come from right across New South Wales, including Sydney. And you've got people here that have been here all their lives, or you've got people moving here for retirement. You're only an hour or so away from the Blue Mountains and 2.5 to 3 hours from Sydney, depending on where you're going. Blackrock Station goes back to the 1860s. It was first settled back then. This is the last remaining 4,000 acres that's kept intact from the original days. And it's quite an outstanding property because it's not just a rural property where you may do some cropping or grazing or whatever else you decide to do. It's got about 1,200 acres of pasture improved, sown down to clovers, fescue, cocksfoot and a bit of phalaris. There's some great stands of timber right throughout the property, plenty of shelter. But one of the striking things about Blackrock is that there is a lot more to it than just the grazing aspect.
And the homestead looks like it's been here forever.
Very much so. It was built in 1984, a Georgian-inspired style, reminiscent of the days of 1850s, 1860s, built out of bricks some 150 years old. The bricks were collected around the local area from old derelict buildings and brought up here by horse and cart. We've got a grand entrance here. You come through the main door and you've got a huge great foyer. That then leads you in to the dining room on one side and the living lounge area on the other side with a double-sided fireplace, which gives the whole place a very cosy feel. The doors then open on the northern side. It flows onto a nice deck and some beautiful lawns right around the homestead. We've got the tradesman or workers entrance around the western side of the house, adjacent to the 3-car garage.
And what would a magnificent homestead be without a huge country-style kitchen?
The kitchen features a slow combustion stove, a salamander grill on the wall, so you can comfortably entertain a dozen or more people here. Blackrock is known for its big parties, several hundred people turning up from town here and dancing all night long. To complete the entertaining side of the house, on a lower floor we've got a billiard room as well as a library and of course the mandatory office or study.
What I like is the separation, the living downstairs and then upstairs to the bedrooms.
There's a total of 5 bedrooms with a huge master bedroom. It's got views in 3 different directions, got its own ensuite bathroom. There's a second main bedroom upstairs also with its own ensuite, plus a further 3 very, very large double bedrooms. And it certainly doesn't stop there. We've also got what our vendors refer to as the East Wing, which is a fully self-contained 2-bedroom apartment with kitchenette, which would be ideal if you needed a live-in housekeeper or perhaps an au pair. Or you may have the mother-in-law live here if you're really that game. The opportunities are absolutely endless at Blackrock. It's much more than just a rural property. There's a huge potential for tourism. There is also further subdivision potential, do I dare mention this. It would certainly be heartbreaking to do this to a magnificent rural holding, probably one of the last few of this size at such a close proximity to a major capital city.
So you've got a massive land holding, a huge homestead, and you've got flexibility of use. I've got to ask you, how much?
In the end of the day, it will be over to the buyers to see what they're willing to pay, but you would certainly expect to pay for a property of this magnitude well into the 2s.
For an iconic Australian station and homestead with multiple potential uses close enough to Sydney, contact Nick Kirshner at Delmege Rural.